We will put aside our slight professionalism and express how we feel. Thank you very much, Bridget. I'm in the sun, I'm drinking rum and not necessarily thinking about remarks. Welcome back to another video. It's a Saturday and this is actually my second program that I'm doing. So I thought I'd switch it up a bit in these videos, and rather than always do the deadlift program, I thought I'd do this one. So you can see what I do when I'm not doing deadlifts. Now obviously, we've got a lot to talk about this week. Two things that have come to mind. One, for those who know Catherine Burble Singh, and she's got a podcast coming out in August, which will be very interesting. But second, the whole SAT debacle. I had to stop talking because otherwise I would lose count. So this whole SATs fiasco, this total sham of a mockery, of a mockery, of a sham, to use the legend that is Johnny Vaughan's words, the sham of a mockery, of a mockery, of a sham. If you ever watched The Big Breakfast back in the day, then you would have known and be familiar with that saying. But it's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, so for those who don't know, for those who've been under a rock or out of the country or not in the country, Year 6 SATs results have always come out on the first Tuesday in July. It's from when I can remember anyway, since I've been a head teacher, deputy head teacher, first Tuesday in July. Back in the day, it used to be, what time is it, midnight? And so you had loads of school leaders over the country staying up till late to log on to the DFE or NCA portal to try to download the results. Then the DFE and whoever else it was kind of, I guess, realised that it was impacting on head teachers' wellbeing. So they changed it to 7:30 a.m. So 7:30 a.m. you can log on to the NCA platform. You can refresh because it usually crashes a few times, and then eventually you can get your SATs results. And that's the date that we work towards. So this year, 7th of July, we would have been working towards it. So for us at our school, 7th of July, that's the date that our school reports go out to parents. We have our full governing board meeting, usually a couple of days afterwards, because we've got something to report. And, you know, everyone knows what they're doing, and then we can get on with the rest of the end of the school year. During the week, I saw somebody reposted a TES article that said there might be delays in the SATs results. I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, me being me, found the report, sent it off to a few people, then backtracked because I looked at some articles that Schools Week had done back in June, and they were saying that back then Pearsons were flurrying around because they'd moved from Capita to another organisation to process the papers. Because what usually happens is you send off your papers, the school sends off your papers, it goes off to wherever it goes off to, and then they send it out to, I think maybe they scan it, and then you have teachers who are paid, or people who are paid to then mark the scripts. So it's a human process that's undertaken. And because they changed their portal and their provider, it seemed, as always when it comes to these kind of things, that it wasn't built for the capacity. Or maybe they hadn't done enough beta testing. Something went wrong, which basically meant that scripts weren't getting marked or uploaded, and so then the markers were having to be asked to do more marking. Because there was this delay, there were glitches in the system, so they couldn't process the papers quickly enough, and so therefore that caused a backlog. So then what they had to do was ask the markers to do extra work, and they were paying them extra money, but it was kind of like 5 hours extra work that they were asking them to do, which when you work full time, 5 hours is a lot. It's an awful lot. Bit of a break while I do 30 seconds of a 7.5 kilo weighted plank. Alexa, set timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, starting now.
So all these markers that were having to do the marking had to be asked to do extra time and were getting paid extra. But Pearson's were like, there was an article from, I think it was the 17th of June at Schools Week published, where Pearson's were saying, oh, don't worry, it'll still be out for the July 7th deadline. Yeah, you know. Had to just stop talking. Alexa off. Had to just stop talking there to focus. So Pearson's were like, oh yeah, it'll all be ready for the July 7th deadline. Now, we have to go by people's words, but it's like, be honest. Just be honest with the people who this impacts. Because then you have this article by Tez. Pearson's at this point said nothing. And then we get an email. And we first got an email from the local authority because they're on it like that. And then because I subscribed to DFE blogs and DFE communications, I then got the email from Bridget Phillipson. And I'm going to read you what it says. We had a very official email sent from the Secretary of State. This was on Thursday afternoon. And it reads, Dear colleagues, I'm writing to let you know about a change to the timetable for the release of the Key Stage 2 SATS results this year. Schools were due to receive the results on the 7th of July. Yes, we were. However, results will now be available on the 16th of July. As a result, the deadline for schools to apply for reviews of marking or clerical errors will be moved back to 24th of July. It was meant to be the 17th of July. Bearing in mind that on the 24th of July, I'm abroad. Yeah, I'm in the sun, I'm drinking rum and not necessarily thinking about remarks and clerical errors. But now I may have to just hold off the rum just to be sure. I appreciate that schools have been waiting for these results and that this delay will be frustrating. It's an understatement, Bridget. Annoyed, angry. It's not frustrating because that indicates that, this is so annoying. It's, It's more like that, Bridget. I also recognise that for schools in Leicester and Leicestershire, this means that results will not be returned until after the end of the summer term, because they've closed. And the same with a lot of academies as well. They would be closed by this point in time. Don't think they realise what happens in schools. I therefore want to write to you directly to explain what has happened and provide reassurance about the results themselves. Pearson Education Limited, the contractor responsible for the end-to-end administration of the Key Stage 2 SATs, has informed us that additional time is needed to ensure the online results portal is ready for schools to access results. The delay relates to the readiness of the system used to make results available to schools. So you know that this system is going to crash. You kind of just know. 16th of July, when everybody is about to go online, you know this system is just going to be a travesty. Importantly, this delay is not, and that's in bold, due to any concerns about the quality of the test or the accuracy of results. Test papers have been marked in line with the usual processes and standards maintenance process, which ensures results remain comparable with previous years, has been completed. The Standards and Testing Agency is confident in the quality and accuracy of the results that schools will receive. I recognise that schools will be frustrated by this delay. She likes the word frustrated. It's not frustration. I'm frustrated too. Nobody's told her, right, that when you're writing, you try not to use the same word twice in the same sentence. But anyway, schools, pupils and parents should be able to rely on results being delivered on time, and it is unacceptable that this standard has not been met. Pearson has rightly taken full responsibility for the delay and apologised to schools and families. I've not seen a reply, an apology from Pearson's. I've not had any communication from Pearson's. They've not sent me to my info email address, the main school one, or anywhere else, so we'll have to look for that. My priority now is getting results to schools as quickly as possible, and my department is playing an active role in resolving the technical failings that Pearson have overseen. Thank you for your patience, understanding and professionalism while this issue is resolved. Basically, she means don't go and rant and rave and cuss and whatever. No, we will, because our frustration and our irritation and our annoyance has to be vented somewhere, and so we will put aside our slight professionalism and express how we feel. Thank you very much, Bridget. In a professional way, obviously. I'm attaching a template for a letter you might want to send to your Year 6 parents and carers about this issue. Yours sincerely, and it's hand-signed, Bridget Phillipson. The Right Honourable Bridget Phillipson, MP, Secretary of State for Education. Now, this is something they should have been on before, okay? So some civil servant somewhere should have been monitoring the situation and then being honest enough to say this is what is going to happen, because they knew about it from June. The 11th of June was the first report I saw from Schools Week that said there might be something going on with the results, and that's because an anonymous marker kind of said, look, this is what's going on behind the scenes, it's a bit of a mess. Let me find one of those Newsweek articles. I keep saying Newsweek is actually Schools Week, so it's the Schools Week website. So the 11th of June, they posted an article, SATS markers given more time and money due to online glitches. And this report says markers of Year 6 SATS papers have been given more time to finish processing papers and a pay bonus after facing weeks of technical glitches on a new Pearson run system. So this is June, and there were weeks of glitches. So we could be well, basically from day one. So the SATs were in May, and the system clearly didn't work at the end of May, so where they started getting them after the 22nd of May, when that was the closing date for kind of all papers should have been collated, sent off, any timetable variations would have been met, etc, etc. And so then Schools Week go on to say markers have been locked out of some questions on the new platform created by exams giant Pearson, which took over the SATS contract from outsourcer Capita this year. They also slowed down due to delays in system loading. Now markers are being given an extra 4 days to finish the papers, although Pearson say exam results will still be delivered as planned on the 7th of July. Markers will also get a 20% pay increase for all papers assessed after the 3rd of June, according to an email seen. One marker who wished to remain anonymous said the marking system was still plagued by technical issues. Delays between questions can be as long as a minute, significantly reducing productivity and causing considerable frustration. Now imagine you're a marker and you've got stuff to do, you've got a life to live. And you've done this many, many years before when it's gone all right, and then suddenly you mark a question, then you've got to wait a minute for the next question to load. Then you've got to wait another minute. How annoying would that be? I mean, it would make you want to just give up. She had added that the pay uplift was an acknowledgement that markers are spending hours logged into the system while completing far less marking than expected due to platform's poor performance. Pearson spokesman said, "We have adjusted the pay for markers to recognise their hard work and to thank them for their professionalism and commitment." I mean, you know, it's fair enough you get paid to be a marker and it's a bit of extra money, but still, the stress, man, the stress is, I don't know if it's worth it. The Standards and Testing Agency also told Trust they would not get access to set up accounts on the new National Curriculum Assessment Portal until the 15th of June. So it's just a bit of a travesty, really. Now, this article's on the 11th of June. Then there was another one. Oh, and there was one on the 1st of June, so there were still glitches. Then there was another one on the 18th of June, another Schools Week article, which said that the marking delays continued. SATS markers were this week scrambling to get through tens of thousands of questions after an already extended deadline passed, prompting calls for the assessment series to be nationalised. This is a new conversation now. It follows weeks of technical glitches on the new ModMark, who calls something ModMark, marking platform created by the exams giant Pearson's, which took over the 180 million pound SATS contract. 180 million pounds, folks. That is how much Pearson's are getting paid for these frustrations and these glitches. They took over from outsourcer Capita this year, and union officials are calling for a public sector organisation to run SATs. On Monday, Pearson asked all markers to help mark the grammar, punctuation and spelling questions. Marking was still underway when Schools Week went to press. Schools Week spoke to a marker who was only allocated their first SATs marking at the end of last week, so this is like June, just days before the already extended deadline, so they hadn't been allocated anything until after the deadline. Pearson told the marker they'd allocated this many so nobody runs out of scripts. Another marker confirmed to Schools Week they were still marking on Thursday. They were contacted by Pearson asking if they would continue and up the allocation to 20,000. This person said it's been a shambles on every level. They've never known marking go so late and usually finish by the 10th of June. This article, again, remember, is on the 18th of June. Other posters reported logging on at one point to find there were no questions left to mark, only to be told later there were many available. Oh, I mean, it's just, and I read somewhere, somebody had asked to mark a paper, and they were like, oh, there we go, here it is. One post on Tuesday, they'd received a phone call from Pearson begging me to do 5 hours of grammar, punctuation and spelling marking. I'm a maths specialist. If I did 5 hours, they would double the hourly rate. I don't have 5 hours, I have a full-time job and tutor. Like I said, it's fair enough doing it for a bit of extra money, but this will just put people off. So now, Pearson's responded to Schools Week yesterday. Let me just find what they said. Pearson's, this was on the 2nd of July, has apologised after announcing that this year's SATS results in England will be delayed by more than a week. They said the delay was caused by technical issues, pushing the publication of results from the 7th to the 16th. I mean, on the 16th of July, it's kind of, you know, we are at the point where we're tired, you know, we're tired. And to have to then have this mental capacity to do all the calculations. I mean, for some people, it might be, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal because I just want to be able to start switching my brain off. Pearson said the delivery of GCSE, A-level and other qualifications would be unaffected. Oh, great, wonderful. I can't see, though, this email that said that Bridget said where they'd apologised. I haven't seen it. In a statement confirming the delay, a spokesperson for Pearson apologised unreservedly for the disruption and thanked its markers who had been affected by the technical problems. Pearson had said it had a plan to complete the remaining work with teams working around the clock to deliver the remaining pupil data, which means they still haven't got it done. On the 2nd of July, days before they're meant to have it, they still haven't finished the marking. Our priority is ensuring that every school and pupil receives complete and accurate results. I mean, this means there's a potential of inaccuracies. There's a potential of having to check your papers so carefully because the markers are tired, because they're rushed, because they're trying to get things through quickly. And so usually when this happens, there are mistakes. And so we, as school leaders, we're going to have to really scrutinise the papers to make sure that they're what they should be. I have to look for this apology that Bridget said. What did she say? She said that Pearson's had taken full responsibility and apologised to schools and families. Let me see if I can find this apology. Bear with me. Right, so I've just gone onto the Pearson website. So it's not a public apology in the sense that they haven't sent it out. It's on their website. So this was published at 11:40 a.m. on the 2nd of July. And this is what they say. Pearson is announcing a delay in the delivery of SATS results, which will now be delivered on the 16th of July. This delay is the result of technical issues with the new SATS platform Pearson uses to support markers, along with technical issues in the transfer of data within the systems Pearson uses for SATS. So it wasn't properly beta tested, essentially. So they did not properly think about how long this was going to take. They didn't test it properly. We know how important SATs are to pupils, parents, teachers and schools. Pearson is responsible for this delay and we're sorry that this year's results have not been delivered with the original timetable. We apologise unreservedly for the disruption caused to our government partners, teachers and families. We also want to thank markers who have also been affected by the technical issues with our SATs marking platform. Their hard work and patience have been critical to this process. Our priority is ensuring that every school and pupil receive complete and accurate results. We have a plan to complete the remaining work and our teams are working around the clock to deliver the remaining pupil data. This issue is specific to this year's SATS delivery process. Pearson's GCSE, A-level and vocational qualifications operate through separate systems and processes and are not affected. So why don't you just kind of use similar processes to the secondary results? But anyway, what do I know? What do I know? All I know is that on the 16th of July, I'm going to be crunching numbers. And on the 24th of July, I am going to be checking, scrutinising SATS papers when I should have started my holiday. And it's really weird because I saw something this week about the school teachers pay and review body. And they had agreed, let me just find this. This is just like, it's ridiculous. The School Teachers Pay and Conditions Review Board, yeah? We got told about the pay review this week, and the fact that they think it's so wonderful that they're giving schools, teachers and leaders an extra 3.5%. That is great, but it's not fully funded. However, what they then say is, if you scroll to the bottom, and we've got this section that's how are you improving working conditions for school teachers. Now, just again, let's think about what's happened with the SATs. Let's think about the fact that 24th of July, they're saying that we will be able to, is a deadline for reviewing the papers. Most schools will finish on the 18th or 17th, the Friday, because they've put things in place to be able to finish. Some schools will finish on the 21st, some a bit later. But most will probably have done something to finish on the 17th. This is what they say about improving working conditions for schools. They are clarifying the protections for leaders' working times, including the right to uninterrupted breaks and the expectation that weekends and public holidays should ordinarily be preserved for non-working time. The right to uninterrupted breaks. Weekends and public holidays preserved for non-working time. SATs results debacle means that we're going to be working probably over the weekend, and we're going to be working during our holidays. So already they failed before they've even established this properly. I have nothing else to say on the matter. If you want to share your thoughts, your opinions, or your frustrations, leave a comment below. I am going to start my AMRAP 25 minutes. I've got to do 2 minutes bike ride, and then after 2 minutes do 10 air squats and 7 barbell curls with a 15 kg bar. And hopefully that will help me to get my frustrations out in a professional way. Bridget, maybe?
You obviously don't need pepper because in the gin it's got that nice warmth. And we'll chuck these rices in, all the juices, give them a good squeeze and create the same sauce.
Do you ever use those? Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually strain them and make a good martini.
Nice.
Yeah. We actually do
3 rounds.
A stuffed apple in papillote, stuffed with like armagnac and...
Oh my goodness. Thank you. 25-minute AMRAP. Slow sweat is how my coach described it, and that was very accurate. If you have managed to stay this long through my rant, through some of my workout and my heavy breathing, props to you. And please then, if you think it's worth it, subscribe, click to like, leave a comment about your feelings on the whole SATs fiasco. That's more than just a bit frustrating. And share. Let's all be frustrated together. Let's all be annoyed together. Let's all share. And let's see when the SATs results come out. It'll be a couple of days before I go away. So I'm hoping to record a video just before I go away, just so that I can congratulate Pearsons on managing to finally get it right, because hopefully when we log on at 7:30 AM on the 16th, it will all be fine. I won't be working on that day because I won't work on Thursday, so I'll be doing it from home. But let's see how things pan out, and enjoy the last couple of weeks. If you are finishing on the 17th like we are, just enjoy these last couple of weeks. Enjoy the end of term celebrations, the year 6 productions and concerts and the parties and whatever else you do. We're in for another hot week, so stay cool once again, and I'll see you in the next video.